Hello and welcome. Today is patch day, and I figured it'd be a good time to do do another one of the what dragonflight raid bosses can I kill in this patch guides. I started with heroic just to see if the bosses would drop loot. It's in super fast forward, but the answer is no. No, they don't. So if you want loot from Dragonflight raids, you have to kill the bosses on Mythic, or go with a squad of 30 people and divvy it out that way. Uh, Caveat going forward, for most of the fights you'll see, if it's killable on Mythic, it's certainly killable on lower difficulties. There's a few fights where the mechanics are not favorable to one person doing the fight. But, and I'll be covering that as we go. Uh, Once we get to it, we start with Mythic Aranog. Can you kill him? Yes. This character is reasonably geared. I was reasonably active before I took a hiatus. But this character was doing Mythic 12s and 13s, and I was like pseudo Mythic geared. I don't do Mythic Raid because I don't do the social part of it, but like this character is respectably geared. But I decided to do this whole thing as Devourer, and I can't say I properly learned Devourer until like 7 or 8 bosses in. Taros is pretty simple. Also, one of the biggest TLDR for this guide. If you want nothing, if there's one bit of information you want to hear, it is that due to the number crunch, our health bar is a whole lot smaller. But for old content like this, our damage is scaled the hell up. This makes Leech go kind of crazy. You might notice on my screen, like on the top of the screen, there's green numbers that are basically my entire health bar every few seconds because scaled up damage, but the health bar is the same. Just means that Leech is now uh, making it so that if you don't get one shot, you don't die. So there's that. Gravity kills will still get you, so be careful on the spider boss. Be careful on a few other bosses with that sort of mechanic. Even on 5x speed, you could tell that it took forever. But on fights like this, where his tank mechanic used to be relevant and kind of scary, my health bar doesn't move. It took me a while to figure out why, but every once in a while you just see a green 100,000 because that's just leeching. Not much to say on fights like this. You just kill them. I think this is around the point where I started getting into it, though it turns out I was running the Mythic Plus build. Next time I do this, I'll probably have figured out how to do Void's Guard, I think it is. Either way, this fight has always been free, so there's not really much to say. You just AoE them down, and if you feel like doing the mechanics to be polite, do so. The big thing is just make sure that you stand in the fire for the ice mechanic, and you're good to go. Dathia can knock you off the map if you're not careful. You see it a few times you'll see me get knocked away a few times. I think I also get angry when I was recording this because I got knocked back repeatedly when I was trying to do the big spirit bomb thing that Devourer Demon Hunters do. At this point, I'm not a competitive eater. I'm not very good at devouring. But at the same time, you don't need to be all that good to kill this boss. So there's that. Then we have our first boss that is still not doable. I'm not a Devourer because I tried it. I got slapped. It didn't work. And I tried to go in tank spec just to see what would happen. I kited the boss for a bit, and it was looking kind of promising. Because the reason why I'm kiting is because everything's super healing. You can't touch them. They're all immune to damage. It's not a big deal. At some point, I get bored of this and stand still for a second and immediately die. But not really a big deal, all things considered. I'm pretty sure that the boss after is soloable at this point, but I don't think. But it's even on normal and heroic. I'm not sure about. Well, honestly, on normal and heroic, you could probably melt the ads fast enough. Moving on to aberus. Yeah, aberus. This one changes a bit because of the scaling. There were a few bosses that were just really difficult to kill because they would just burn you down before you burned them down. This one, too, kind of counts for that. This one used to be a bit of attrition. Same with this. Like, the first two bosses were never... Well, like, the first boss of each wing, never really... Those were doable last patch. But, the ones that really changed are the wing bosses and well, basically, spoiler alert, I get all the way to Shadow of Neltharion. Even if I kill Shadow of Neltharion, I don't think Sarkareth is soloable because he has a stupid RP kill that will delete you at the end of the fight. You need to have, he's one of those fights that sort of requires you to have at least two people to sort of do well. But the council fight used to be a massive pain in the ass because the tank debuff would just kill you outright after a while. But since as long as you have a modicum of leech, you just don't die. It's pretty easy to just melt them down now. I was not expecting to kill this one, let alone kill them in one, and I did. This fight was always sort of free, but I was not bursty enough, so I ended up having to do the fight the long way. Which is a bit of a shame. Also gave me a lot of time to sort of appreciate how Devourer works. I gotta say, I'm looking forward to having access to the capstone talents and stuff. It feels a little bit weird trying... I feel like I'm a little bit limited on how many of the big spirit bombs you can do in void form. So far, my record is almost getting to 3. I'm sure that 3 is manageable if you have power infusion and bloodlust up. But I feel like the capstone talents will make that feel a lot better. Because if I remember correctly, the capstone talents were or enable it a bit, or enable more or juicier combos. Okay, so this was one of those bosses that I didn't think was possible because of mechanics, but as it turns out, all you have to do is force enrage him. So the trick is, you start the fight, he puts a fire on the circle on the ground, you stand a minute, which causes him to go enrage, and after he enrages, he stops doing his tank combo, so you can kill him. If he has a tank combo, you die, but if you just do the I lose mechanic, you win. Because he's just pulsing enough damage to kill someone who is 10 levels below you, but it doesn't kill you, so you're good. Instead of his tank combo, which would not kill someone 10 levels below you, but will kill you because you have no one to taunt off you. Funny how that works. Even at 5x speed, it's still kind of slow. Crazy. Okay, and next fight, pretty simple. You just kill him. I was kind of polite with the mechanics. I didn't stand in the fire. I killed the ads a few times. I did, but I'm not even sure if that's actually necessary or not. You just sort of beat him up. I don't think my health dropped below 90% for the entire fight. I didn't do anything dangerous, but having basically infinite healing is made the difference for a few of these fights. Specifically this one. I was not expecting to get this one down. This one was the fight that made me realize what was happening with the healing. Because he does an absolute metric ton of damage after a while. But as it turns out, I just healed through it, and it was not a big deal. But as you can see, my health got to scary levels several times because he just pulses damage. Also, it looks like if you once he enrages, he stops doing a number of mechanics, because if the entire floor got turned into fire, I would just there is a mechanic that would kill me. So it looks like you do want to force enrage him. I'm not sure if every class can do. Well, I don't know. I'd say most, as long as you have like some way to access leech, even if it's gear, you should be good. Echo Neltharion is theoretically possible, but I think he's bugged right now because as I was soloing him, I got to phase 2. During phase 2, he creates some invisible ghosts. Then he gives a debuff to players so people can see the ghosts, and those people have to go hit the ghosts so everyone else can see them. But we're in phase 2. I have the debuff. I just hovered over the debuff, and there's no ghosts. I don't see them. Where are they? Couldn't tell you. But at the same time, until the ghosts die, he is stuck at 35%. So I can't see the ghosts. I have I can't really think of any way to see the ghosts. And I don't feel like doing or experimenting on figuring it out, so I don't think he's soloable. And since Sarkareth isn't soloable, it's not really. I wasn't gonna or all that interested in that. Gnarlroot is also reasonably soloable. He can't kill you, but at the same time, he is a tedious fight. All of the amirdrassil fights are scaled to the point where it takes a while to kill them, and you have to do this damn mechanic by yourself. Where this is designed for 20 people, doing it by yourself is a pain in the ass, especially since you can't easily leech off the boss. So your health starts to slowly drop. I use a health pot midway through this. It wasn't particularly difficult to do, per se, but it is damned annoying to go through. Because even at 5x speed, it takes a while to get that done. Also, it made me appreciate that Devourer cooldowns are going to be really awkward with fights like this. But yeah, Gnarlroot not too bad. Fight after Gnarlroot is also pretty free, as long as you have some leech. You just hit her until she dies. You can be polite. You can dodge her mechanics, but she doesn't have any of them one-shotty mechanics that are actually dangerous. Well, I don't know. I didn't actually get hit by that orb, but there isn't really all that too much to say here. Just like everything else in amirdrassil, the scaling is at the point where it feels like you probably shouldn't be able to solo it. If you can go with a group for amirdrassil, that would make sense. I mean, like, you sort of need a group for all 3 of them if you want to kill every boss, but if you want to just, like, solo and get all the loot every week, you can get most of Ult, most of Aberus, and honestly, about half of amirdrassil, spoiler alert. Amirdrassil's sort of a pain in the ass, though. Like, if you're gonna go about soloing amirdrassil, I feel like you'd have a much more entertaining time a month from now when Midnight comes out. Well, a month and a week, give or take. Month and 2 weeks when Midnight comes out. Maybe add an extra week for leveling. Either way. So we have the worm boss, as you can see. Stand in the fire, doesn't hurt. You just kill it. If only every one of these bosses could be so simple. Though I gotta say, this one started making my eyes hurt a little bit. Then we have the Keeper of the Grove, Fire Edition. This fellow is not or I couldn't solo him, but I think he is theoretically soloable. The issue is that once he hits 40%, he enters phase 2. In phase 2, he puts a circle on the main tank, which is you because you're the only person there. And that circle prevents you from healing and drains health from nearby players, which there are none. So you no longer have leech, so you are now capable of dying. More than that, during that phase, he will periodically drop a 20-second stun that is supposed to be cleansed off by healer that doesn't exist. So unless you have ridiculous damage and you can just kill him before he drops a 20-second stun on you, you're sort of shit out of luck. And that was sort of where I'm at. So I think it's theoretically possible with hero classes. And of those, I'm talking like bursty ones, like some mythic rating, max geared arcane mage type shit. Maybe a marksman hunter who saves their cooldowns, pops potions, and all the other try-hardy stuff. It might be theoretically possible to kill that boss. Council, I think, is theoretically possible, but it takes forever, and I was having a hell of a time trying to do the Devourer rotation while getting CC'd and having my targets run out of range repeatedly. So I chose not to do so. And then we don't have footage for Smolderon, but I'm pretty sure he's killable. That being said, I don't think the fights after him are killable. I think that, well, I think hypothetically you might be able to take out the Archdruid, but Fyrak, unfortunately, has a whole lot of RP-style auto-kills, where he'll kill the tree, so he just automatically kills you. And the only way to deal with that is more damage than a single character is capable of at present time. That being said, don't let me stop you, but you'll probably need like 2 or 3 people to at minimum to fully clear amirdrassil at present time. 2 people for aberus, 2 people for vault, but you can clear most of each of these raids by yourself if you're so inclined. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful night or day, depending on what time you're watching. Have a good one.